Hey everybody, we are here for Tuesday Talks. Now, Tuesday Talks is all about getting to know an individual and finding out what makes them tick. What do they care about, how their career reflects that, and what motivates them to keep going. Now, today's guest is, now this is where it's going to get funny. I'm going to try and attempt to pronounce her name. Now, today's guest is Shui, and Shui is she works with freedom lovers to get their time back and gain their lifestyle freedom while doing what they love. She's also an entrepreneur who runs 3 online businesses with her partner as they live and explore the world. She loves adventures, living in the freedom, and growing and inspiring people. So let's get Shui on. I see you there. Let me just invite you.
Hi, Zishan.
Hey, Shrey, I think I got your name right now.
Yes, amazing. Great job, man.
Amazing. Yes, yes. I've been practicing it to say it.
I love it. It's not the easiest name on earth, but I can understand.
And especially for me, who's terrible with remembering and pronouncing people's name. Anyway, so yeah, it's twice as hard for me. Yeah, so I've got your name correct, Shrey. And I'm quite happy with that anyway. So I've done a short introduction for you already. I'm not sure if you got to hear that or not, but you're the best person to let us know who you are, what do you do, and the biggest question that everybody has on their mind, why do you do it?
Yeah. So yeah. Hey guys, my name is Xue. Zishan pronounced it absolutely perfect. Yes. So I'm an entrepreneur and I escaped the corporate hamster wheel about 2 years back to really live in my life of freedom and adventure that I absolutely love and value. So yeah, me and my partner, we actually quit together at the same time, and we started one at first, but it was a crazy roller coaster ride. And then we started 2 other businesses along with it. But the main focus is really to try to live in the sense of freedom that we believe in. Many people have different ways of living freely, but that's what we believe in. And for me, it is basically focusing on mindset and then time, followed by location and financial and all of that beautiful stuff. And yes, so that is me in a nutshell, I guess.
I love this journey, and I've obviously we've connected via this CBC part of the world from Mind Valley. If people who don't know what CBC is, we're talking about what is CBC again?
Certified business coach.
There you go. So certified business coach. We connected via that. We both are certified business coach. I still go by consultant because I think that's a bit more is what I try to do. I consult rather than coach people out of it. But yeah, so that's how we connected, and I've been seeing your journey since then, since we've connected. I'm a heavy user of Instagram, and I believe you are so as well because you're quite active. Every time I turn my Instagram on, your face pops up with this wonderful, crazy
Oh, my
story
butt.
or something. Yeah, that's what I didn't want to say it, but I was like, yeah, something wonderful, crazy things appearing, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, okay. So it's like this is, and you're obviously enjoying the travels that you are doing with the businesses that you have now, cultivated from 1 to 3 now. I know you just mentioned that it was a roller coaster ride. I think it is anyway because you're launching your first one, and this you're very at the beginning. You're learning and growing with it. So hit and misses are happening, but now I'm sure you perfected the system, and now you have 2 more, so it's 3 there, which is now giving you that time freedom, which we are all looking for, right? So how has that journey been for you? I know you're traveling. Whereabouts are you now in the world?
I'm in Laos, in
Wow.
Vientiane, the capital. Yeah, I'm looking over the Mekong River across to Thailand. It is a place I've never been before, and yeah, it's every day has been a pleasant surprise, I would say.
I love that. I love that. And so since you decided obviously pack your bags and leave the hamster wheel, jump out of that. And when you jump out of that, you also flung yourself out of the box, right? So the box was in the hamster wheel was in that box. So when you left, it kind of flung you out, right? So you went
Mm.
out, and now you're out there in the world traveling and everything. How has that experience been so far? If you wanted to take us through that in terms of, I'm sure it was scary when you decided to do that. If you want to take us through the journey of you.
Yeah, maybe let me go a little bit back into the beginning. I'm someone who grew up in Singapore, right? And it's a culture, like my parents are Chinese. I'm Chinese in the Chinese culture. My dad always tell me, I have to study hard, and my mom always track me. If I don't, I'll have to sweep the garbage, and I don't know what else, all the scary stuff. So I've always actually did really well last minute. I always like to find shortcuts to get what I think I need to get, but I don't really truly want it. So when I was in Berlin doing my corporate job, and graduated from two of the top elite business schools, one in Singapore and one in Germany, I'm like, okay, is this what life is? And I mean, I had what I really was suffering was a lot of anxiety going on back then. I was staying in a 35 square meter flat. I don't know, you can imagine how small is that. It's literally a studio apartment
Hmm.
with a kitchen, and that's connected to my bedroom and the toilet,
Wow.
with my partner and my dog that I brought from Singapore. And it was all fine because there was no COVID, so I escaped my little studio flat all the time outside in Berlin, because Berlin is a party city. I love partying, I love drinking. It really helps me momentarily escape from whatever that I
Hmm.
unconsciously was suffering from. But when COVID hit, you can imagine that I wake up one day and I have to start working every day at home. I remember sitting at my desk and I just opened my laptop, and I work for an e-commerce fashion company, one of the biggest in Europe. And I had to talk about selling more clothes, selling more shoes. And I was just feeling like, damn, people are dying out there. I mean, at that time, either you're like, oh, COVID,
Yeah.
it's you're right, you're either spectrum, but I'm just like, what am I doing? And then my husband, I mean, at the time, my partner, my boyfriend was sitting opposite me, and he was selling car parts online. Right, we were both on our laptop trying to sell things for e-commerce to make money, and our bosses' agenda. And when we have meeting, I remember he has to go to the toilet because I said, no, 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 I have more important meeting. You go to the toilet. No, I'm just kidding. But he went to the toilet because his meeting is in German and my meeting is in English, and it's just like chaotic. So yeah, and then it started to grow like hives going out, and I remember it was just out of control. I was waking up feeling extreme anxious, and that's when I started actually meditating. And I would remember meditating 60 minutes, but coming out still feeling anxious, and nothing seems to be right in my life at that point. And I was trying to find ways out, and we had a many conversation. So somehow magically, like maybe the universe is such a great thing, right? We got into the idea of investing. We wanted to buy a flat, but the flat was like inflating a lot during COVID
Mm.
times. Like they gave us a price, and 10 minutes later was 10% higher. So we
Wow.
decided to, okay, what else can we invest in? And then that's when crypto came up. And at that time, crypto wasn't like going crazy yet. I think it was super, yeah, at the beginning of the whole mania phase. And we decided to go big or go home, right? We don't have any much risk. And we spent 3 weeks of our holidays, because we can't travel anywhere, to be at home to study everything about crypto and the strategy and the investment and so on. And then we decided to do something crazy. We just like, you know what? Let's just quit our jobs, because we can move to Portugal and we can, live by the seaside. And we were like, I remember it was the 30th of January, 2020. Crypto was pumping. Yes,
Mm.
but also at the time, We were like walking our dog in the cold with like snow on the floor and ice. And I'm like, I cannot live in this anymore. We have to go to somewhere, with the ocean. And we're like, what is the worst case scenario if we quit? And I'm like, and that's when I realized I am in the worst case scenario. Currently in my job, I'm unhappy with it. I'm suffering mentally, physically. Every day I'm dreaming about my ocean and the flat. And I'm just like, we moved our furniture, by the way, in this 35 square meter flat 10 times because we are like, the sofa, we can change it there, just so that we feel like we're in a different room every single
I can imagine
every
that.
2 weeks.
I've been there. I've been there.
Yeah, so yeah, that's when the next day we both quit at the same time. And a few months later, we sold everything. Like we sold literally everything. We did like a Marie Kondo 3.0 altogether, and we sold everything. We bought a secondhand car, and we packed everything that we have ever owned in one car, including my dog. And I think half of the car was him and his stuff, right? And then we drove across the border through France, Spain, and arrived in Portugal. And that's where we actually started our journey.
Wow. But that is such an amazing journey that you just shared that, and I'm in awe for, and also wanted to congratulate you, like, well done, because that is a huge, huge step that you've taken, and the bravery and the courage that is needed to do that, right? Because a lot of us, now I'm generalizing here, a lot of us in general would love to do what you've just done, right? So, just pack everything up, sell everything, become Marie Kondo 3.0, everything's gone, just go minimalistic, what is essentially needed, just take that and go. But you've gone and done it, and it's amazing that you've, taken that step and driven to all the way to Portugal to start a whole new fresh journey from there. And I 100% agree with one thing there as well in terms of relocating, because I am a firm believer of, if you want to see some sort of change in yourself, you need to change the surroundings, and you've just literally done that. So you had to relocate completely, and which I say, if it's possible for anybody to do that, definitely go and do that. Change the whole country if you need to, or change the city at least, because that's what you need. You need that change so that you are able to change and grow yourself. Because I always look at, and I like very simplistic metaphor. So here's the one, right? So if you had a house plant, right, and it's not doing that well, what do you do with it, right? You pick it up and you move it around the house, right? You put it by the window one day, you put it by the door one day. So maybe it needs air, maybe it needs this, maybe it needs sunlight. So you try to do this thing, right? You are relocating it, you're changing its environment. But when it comes to us, we don't do that. We still come back to our old environment, hoping for a different change, and it's like hoping something better happens. But it's not going to happen because we are not allowing the change to happen, right? And I love that you just touched upon that, and you've created that. Now, so since you've done that pivot moment of going to Portugal, and I'm sure that was not also a easy, smooth ride, because a lot of people think, you've done that, you get to Portugal. I don't know why I keep saying Portugal. You get there, and then you're living by the beach, and then that's hey, your life is sorted now. I'm sure it wasn't like that. So if you're willing to share what happened when you got there, you're like, yes, we are here.
Yeah, I mean, I remember we were driving end of May, right? I remember entering our flat that we got in this very beautiful city, Nazaré. It is a big wave city, right? And it is 3 times, at least 3 times the size of our previous flat. And I remember our dog, Boo Boo, he went into the flat. He was hopping around, super excited as we all were. We have so little things that the whole flat is echoing because we don't have shit to put around. Yeah, and I remember immediately, I think even though you relocate, you don't tend to shake off the anxiety inside of you, and the need to prove to others that this is the right decision. Because when we did not get all hoorays and all support and all bonbons coming out, right? Like, we do get criticized, we do get a lot of what ifs, especially from our closest loved ones, unfortunately. So I was so desperate to try to prove something, but actually there's nothing to prove, because I went with like a big fat dream that, okay, I'm going to create a business. I'm not sure what it is, but I think it's going to be something about crypto because I'm so in love with it, right? That was the first idea that we had, that we want to do something about it. And then within the first 2 weeks, every day I'm like straight regime, like Christian, my partner, Christian, let's get up. We need to get up. We need to do this. We need to get our morning routine. I was so tensed still. We are not really living in the moment. And then my dog started to feel sick. And we thought, oh, maybe he ate something wrong. We brought him to the vet. It was really 2 weeks. And at the vet, in about 3 days, they did ultrasound. We realized that he has 3 tumors in his liver. It was rupturing.
Wow.
And and he was 12 years old. And for me, Boo Boo has been my rock for the longest time. I had him since I was 18, and I had him through like my crazy like teenager breakups. I brought him from Singapore to Germany. He was with me when I was alone in Germany doing my internship and all of that. And he was my rock. And I always tell my husband at the time, like, now as well, it's not husband at the time, husband now. Like Christian, that Boo Boo first, you second, or Boo Boo first, me second, you third, whatever the sequence. So when Boo Boo when a vet said he only had a few days left, and I was like, what the fuck? I did not come to Portugal to lose my dog. And it's also amazing how crazy the world is. And then right at that time, what happened to crypto? It was falling like 50%. Like everything broke, right? And I was we had a savings, we had a safety net of cash that we will spend for like half a year to a year to create our new life. And we were spending that on vets, on doctors, because I was trying every way I can to try to save. I spend my time learning Reiki. I read 2 books on Reiki healings. I was
wow.
We put also air mattress on the floor so that my Boo Boo could sleep with us and not have to go on the bed. So it was like a hospice for like total of 2 months. And during then, my car, the second-hand car that I said I bought, it also broke down. And which part of it broke down? The most expensive part broke down. The fucking gearbox,
Of course,
like completely broke. So I'm like, we asked how much would that be? It would be like 8k euros, right? And we bought the car for 5k euros. Like, what the hell? And we couldn't drive him to the vet and all of this. So I really went into a crazy depression, especially after he passed. I couldn't do anything. Everything seems bleak. I don't have a future. I left my job going to Portugal with a vivid vision of what I want to create, right? I did live book with my partner, and we really drew this out. But when I lose my rock, my dog, and I felt like nothing matters. I kept saying I could turn back in time, go back to the 35 square meters so that I could cuddle him again, because nothing matters except for, now I'm getting emotional, but like, nothing matters except for us in that room, right? And that was what I truly believed. Like, what is life if you don't have the ones around you? But yeah, and the beautiful part of all of it is that you realize also the beautiful part of losing someone, or that is so dear to you, by living in the present. And that is when I truly learned about being the present. I'm like, I'm so anxious about the future that right now I should be living today, now. Like, freedom became so materialistic for me as well, but actually freedom is now. Freedom is what I'm thinking, and I'm trying to battle between the future and the past, where the past is the beautiful memory of my dog, and the future is there's no dog of mine anymore, to the present moment. Even though he's sick, I have to be there presently. Yeah, so for the first 6 months when we were in Portugal, that was what's happening.
Wow.
And I'm so lucky that I have support. My mom came over to live with me for 3 months in Portugal, and that was when I really start to feel loved again, and I start to get back my feelings. I was
Mm.
numb. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. And I don't know, I'm speechless. I'm in shock at the same time. And thank you very much for sharing that journey and being vulnerable there as well with that journey. People watching now obviously could see that you were, about to tear up, and because I can't really clearly see, but I'm sure you had a few tears out. And it's so I could hear the emotions coming up as well. So what I am taking away from that is, even though we need to start afresh, it's not all hunky dory. It's not all your vivid dream. It's not your vision board that you think is going to just kick in place, right? It's not one of those, video games that you're like, okay, press the button and your game starts, right? It's not that simple. You press the button to game to start, but you need to still complete the game to get your prize at the end, which you actually wanted, right? To win that. So, and obviously, universe, God, whoever you're believing in has various different ways of testing that do you really actually want this life that you set upon, and that was also coming across to me how I was picking up like, okay, this is a test. It's a very big test, but to just see and also make you realize, and I love the fact that you became aware of being in the present and being in that moment. We are all driven to worry about the future. Future is created by what you are doing today. I always say 100% to everybody who speaks to me. I'm like, future is created by what you're going to do today. So worry about what you're going to do today, and that future is happening. So if you take a decision today, that will now take effect tomorrow, 5 years, 10 years, 5 days, whatever you've set upon now will now flourish. And I love that kind of it came across in that story of yours now that you set upon. But then obviously you had your hurdles, your challenges to test you that is this really what you want, or you're just going to pack your bag, which you felt to do, and go back to that little house of your, back there. But no, you persevered, you connected, and I'm sure was it Bibi? He's happy. He's happy, he's happy up there that you persevered, because that was the test, and you passed, right? You're there. So which is an amazing story as well. Now, so fast forwarding to where you are at the current moment and traveling the world and everything, have you now set upon a good routine for yourself? Because how do you now keep yourself motivated when you're traveling all these things? And now the reason I also ask is now it's 1 a.m. where you are, and it's 7 p.m. where I am. So obviously you're 6 hours ahead. So, and you showed up. So that's another commitment I want people to take away from today on this episode, if they don't take anything else, is the commitment of showing up. So if you decide to do something, you need to show up, which you did. You could have just literally canceled it this morning, and I'm like, I couldn't do anything, right? But no,
sleep.
yeah, exactly. So, but you showed up. So that's commitment there as well. So take us through that little bit of journey. So obviously, what did you have to do to set yourself up to be a winner at the end, as the universe likes to and the world likes to know you. So you're the winner at the end. But being present, I know that's what is important to you, right? So how did you create that? So when you're traveling, how do you keep the routines or rituals?
It is a dance between being very flexible and having things in plan. So it is, as I was sharing a little bit before, I used to follow a strict regime. I was telling Christian, I was showing all my Asian tough love on him, like, Christian, you have to do this, Christian. But now I realize, especially recently when I started to travel more aggressively and not just staying in the place for half a year to a year, is that I have to have flexibility inside of it, because having flexibility creates also creativity in many ways. And right now, I know my non-negotiables. I think I have to start with that. I have my non-negotiables, but how it follows through the day, how it starts, I don't put a wrap around it. I absolutely love the gym. right? I go to the gym sometimes. I mean, I feel like showing my crazy faces all the time on it. I love the gym because it gives us energy, and I do everything with Christian. Like it's almost crazy. We're like, you know, banana in
Yes.
pajamas together everywhere. But yes, so we go. The gym is very important. Meditation is very important for me. We will wake up together and on a meditation in between our heads to listen to it together. And yeah, and but sometimes I will do it on my own as well. I just cannot talk like so much when I first wake up, right? I have to get into the flow of it. So meditation, the gym are the two of the non-negotiables I need to have not every single day. The gym I don't, but like it is essential, and to go out and have a fresh air as well, right? But of course, sometimes I love waking up a little bit earlier, but of course now with the time that I'm here, it is fine. Tomorrow I'll sleep a little bit later, but I always ask myself the questions: how would I structure my day such that I will feel less anxious? I'll feel in the flow, right? I mean, gym is important, but if I like tomorrow, I will have to wake up actually at around 6 because I have a call at 7, so 4 hours of sleep. Would I be anxious if I go to the gym right after? Of course, because I don't have the energy to do it. I probably be tired. So what is more important, sleep or gym? I will probably take a nap afterwards. So I always check back to how I feel, how my body feel, and leave the flexibility to my body and my energy and not to my mind, right? Because the mind controls too much.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. So that it follows on to what we were speaking to Piotr about it last week on last Tuesday's episode, in terms of listening to your body and not the mind when it comes to your health, because the mind is just is very analytical. It just knows the past and it doesn't know anything else. It's working with all its past files, whereas your body is telling you what is actually happening inside and what it needs. So if it needs that extra sleep, you need that. Gym can wait, right? Gym can go there tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I love that you've touched upon it as well today, and flexibility. Yes, this is key. A lot of us, we get bogged down on rituals and routine by listening to other people that, oh, I need to be following this, I need to be doing this, and we have a list. Then I always say, what was the point of creating the whole list of what you need to do in the morning? Because it's supposed to be natural to you. You just wake up and you enjoy your morning. If it's going to the gym, if it's meditation, if it's journaling, if it's drinking a whole bottle of water, whatever that is, right? It's not like, okay, what's on the list? I've done that. If you're doing this, this is not sustaining the body. This is actually stressing the body out, because the body is not then relaxing. The whole purpose of all this to do in the morning with your morning ritual or routines is to relax the body, make it more aware, make it more fresh, be ready for the rest of the day, right? And that's what it is. If you're stressing the body out already by agitating it and looking at the list, it's already in panic mode before you even start your day, right? And I love that that's what you just reminded me of when you just shared that. So, with taking you into your current role now, that you are helping others achieve something similar, right? People who are freedom lovers. So tell us now who you're working with and who is your ideal client that you're helping.
Yeah, as a coach, I love working with busy professional individuals. I work with CEOs, I work with also entrepreneurs, solopreneurs that is really, feeling like time is in control of their life instead of in control of them. And also realizing that a lot of it is because of mindset. So this is what I really want to help people in terms of creating the ultimate freedom for themselves. Have to start first from personal freedom. And the easiest way where we can get touch in it, it's actually through our mindset. What is it that we want? Breaking through our limiting beliefs, breaking through all the ceilings that we have for ourselves. And with that, having the clarity to be able to know, how do I actually spend my time that is in alignment with my goals or my intentions in life. So a lot of time when I ask people, what does freedom mean to you? Oh, I want to get a financial freedom and location freedom. And I'm like, yes, that's what I've always wanted. That's why I went into like crypto. That's why I moved everywhere. But then when I'm actually doing that and I'm actually having success in crypto or actually moving everywhere, I realize no, that's always you're always gonna chase. You're always gonna chase for the next zero next to it. You have 5 digits, you want 6 digits. You have 6 digits, you want 7 digits. You have 7 digits, you want 8, and it's so go on. And when you're traveling, you're always like, but there's the next place that is beautiful that I want to travel. There's always a next. But the one thing that we can already have control of right now is how we think, right? Create the freedom through the way we think and create freedom through how we spend our time. Because a lot of time, we say we want time freedom, but we want time freedom through financial freedom, through location freedom. I will have the time when I have the amount of money to have that time. I will have the time when I can travel everywhere and then, you know, just relax at the beach. And when I'm doing this, I realized, no, it should be the other way. Have the time, focus on yourself, write out the steps that you want to get those things going, because with that feeling, you know, it's okay if you don't have like 7 figures, 8 figures in the bank, right? It's okay if you don't travel 5 different places, 10 different places. I have my own reason. It's not for freedom. It is just adventure. That is another value of mine. It is adventure that drives me to travel, but it's not freedom. I realize for me, especially personally, freedoms come from my mind and through how I spend my time to create all the other areas that I really want. Yeah.
I really love that, and you just reminded me of how I look at this myself as well. Just a little story onto that. You know, 2 years back, myself decided to leave the corporate role out of the blue. You know, I was already, I will say, a bit stressed and, you know, agitated and all that stuff. It was happening. I had already coming from a corporate world where I do most of the planning, so being a project manager and forecaster of what things should happen for the company. So I forecast, you know, how the trajectory is going. I had already forecasted for myself that in 2 years' time, I will exit this company, you know, which means, okay, I started to, you know, accumulate the finances, I'll start putting things together so that I can just leave. But obviously, the universe had the whole different plan by that time. When I started 1 year in, 6-7 months in, obviously, lo and behold, as we all know, the pandemic happened. And I was lucky enough still to be able to work from home, you know, and have meetings and everything. And what that allowed me was that I was able to now not travel for meetings. So I traveled the whole country of UK, right? So I will be in face-to-face meetings. So I have to be there. I'll stay in the hotels if I need to buy. And I love driving, so I usually drive a lot more everywhere. So that used to take me at least 4 hours to get some places, right? Because it was that far away. Now, when pandemic happened, I was able to have those Zoom meetings. Everybody became a bit more techie skilled and all that stuff. It gave me my travel time back. So now, if the meeting is done in 1 hour, that is the only 1 hour I was needed for. I didn't need to be away for 5 hours now, right? So what do I do in these extra hours that I was giving back? I started doing personal development, which was already very important to me since the beginning. But what was I saying? I'll do it when I have the time. I'm very busy at the moment. But yeah, I wasn't creating the time because I was stuck in that loop of that time. And when that happened, I was like, okay, 2 months in or something like that, by July 2020, I was like, that's it. I called up my boss. I'm leaving. And the boss was like, are you sure? And there's everybody who's scared because companies are letting people go, right? Because there's no jobs at the moment. So companies are dropping people and everybody is scared. And there's me, crazy person, phoning them up. Oh yeah, by the way, this is my 30-day notice, you know. So I'll see after this. I'm not coming, and that's what you just reminded me of, you know, in terms of it's finding that courage to take that step, and what's important to you in terms of that, what freedom means to you, And that was my realization in that time. Freedom for me was to be in the now, and just go with the flow. And now I don't go with the flow 100%. I still have my habits of, organizing things and being ahead of the curve. That's part of how I'm built. So I do forecast and plan well ahead. So my whole next year is planned as well, right? But what that means is I don't play chess, by the way. So but I like to say it. I put my chess pieces in the places that I need to be head, right? And then I just leave them pieces there, that this is what's supposed to happen in this year. And, let's go. And I then see where my journey is taking me. Is my journey heading towards that chess piece? If not, no worries, that chess piece is there. But what I've realized is happening, I'm going, the wave will take me to the left. I'm like, oh, okay, this is new. I'm all about now experiencing what it is. So what I realized, I've been experiencing, everything I did was for an experience, but I was so narrow focused with work and life and everything that I just didn't realize what I was doing. So everything I did was about experience, right? So now anything I do now is actually about experience, because I want to experience it. So I know my target is that I need to be there to the right side of this door and that. But hang on, if this experience is calling me now out of the blue, somebody said, hey, Zishan, come here. We're going to check this out. This event is amazing. Come. I'm like, oh, okay, let's do this. That can wait now. So I'm not rushing and I'm not chasing. What I realized, eventually I am already there, and it's 10 times much more than what I was forecasting it to be if I had reached with my trajectory that I was planning to do it with. And that's what I found actually works 100%. I was doing that most of my life, just not knowing it, and therefore not realizing it as well, that this was happening in the background. But now I'm more in tune to it. I'm more in tune to the messages that come along the way, in terms of things will come in front of me for a reason, and I will know what that reason is for some reason. I'll be like, oh, this is linking with that chess piece I put 2 days ago. Oh, that comes so quick. I need to do this now. And I love that, what you just reminded me of is, and that has created that time freedom for me, that I can do so many things that I try to do now. I'm a Mindvalley local host, hosting Mindvalley events and turning up to Mindvalley events. I have gone back to my corporate day role as well, but it's a whole different ball game. It's much more better. I do things on my own terms. Even though I have a boss, but we are both understanding. I have my own timetable and schedule. It's not like, oh, somebody is hovering behind me. So everything kind of changed once I tune into myself. It's in terms of what I want. So I was called back to my old role. Somebody, one of my colleagues rang me up and said, hey, we need you back, Zishan. I think you're the right person for this new team we're creating. I'm like, you sure? Because I'm not the same person that I was before. They're like, no, I've been following your Instagram stories, and I think you're the right person for this now. This team is for you. Well, okay, let's go. Yeah, it was 100%. So I'm able to do in the evenings and afternoons. I'm not stressed, and I can spend my time that I need to spend on things I need to do. And I love that you just reminded me that. And I wish that people listening to us now take away from this is to tune into yourself in terms of what your body is guiding you to do, because with your work also your body guides you what's best for you. I don't know what your things are. I might have derailed the conversation a little bit.
No, I mean, I love what you just shared, and it reminds me of something that I really want to share with everyone as well, is that, just like there's absolute truth and relative truth. Like, we know that an apple is an apple and it's never going to be an orange or a pear, but there's different meanings when it comes to the word like love, success, freedom, and all of this, right? We cannot, like, we really have to find a true meaning for ourselves. And sometimes I'm like, on Instagram, I'm always saying, time management, all of that. It feels like time freedom, traveling. But I'm like, I don't want to paint a picture that feels like, oh, I have all the time, and all the time I have in the world, all I'm spending is I'm traveling and looking at beautiful things. No, I have three businesses that I mean, none like they are not like successful or perfect. They are all starting out building, right? Like one of it that my husband is mainly doing most of the time, Christian. We are trying to build something around crypto where we can help other people to navigate crypto with ease, right? And then I have my own coaching business, and then we are helping my mom to create an online platform where we can help her to achieve her location freedom and her time freedom, so that we can retire her and have her intellectual property online. So all of these stuff we are doing, so people are like wondering like, how do you guys do it? And it doesn't matter, you know, sometimes we work at 10 p.m. but because we love it. It's not because we are like workaholics. Like sometimes you're like, are we workaholics? But then what do we do? Do we watch Netflix? But I'm like, no, but I like to do this more. Okay, then when we do this, like, why should we follow away what people think? But back then when I was working in corporates and when I was working at 10 p.m. or 12 a.m., I was miserable. I wanted to watch Netflix. I wanted to rest. I wanted to sleep. So it cannot be compared apple to apple in that sense. It really depends on for you what it is. And for me, time freedom means I just have control over what I'm gonna do. You know, like it's my decision that I said to, like that I agreed that I'm gonna come on here at 1 a.m. right? 2 months ago, right? It's within my control to say no, it's not working because I want to sleep, right? So everything, it is part of our control, and yeah, that's what I want to say.
I actually really love that, and what you just reminded me on that on top is, you know, like how, I don't know if it's true for you or not. It's definitely true for me that what I've now noticed is that I don't look at the week as how everybody else looks at it. You know, back in the time you were just working for the weekend, you were waiting for the weekend. I don't really, now it doesn't really matter to me if it's a Monday night and I want to go out and have dinner with a friend, you know, or if it's a what do you call it, a Thursday night and you want to, or Wednesday night and you want to turn it into a date night. I'm all up for that. And the next morning I am still fresh. I'm heading into work, and then I come home and I then do my work that I need to create with my business, and it's all there, right? It's just because I'm not now looking at the days as well. Oh, it's Monday, we cannot do this. It's like, oh, you know, it's finished now. We can't go out. It's Monday. I'm like, who said that and when? You know, you can't go out. The restaurant doesn't like relocate itself just for the weekend. It's still there. So you go out, you walk into the restaurant, have a nice time, come back home, and continue. You know, and who says that you have to be out late night? You can go out earlier. You know, I'm not really saying go really early, obviously, but it's all again up to you. What is flexibility to you? Because I heard you, obviously flexibility is there, you know, with what you are doing. So being flexible, I'm taking that also comes to you then as well. So if you feel like, right, you know what, Christian, I feel like eating outside, let's just go to this restaurant I saw in our walk today. He's not going to turn around and say, but it's Monday.
Except if it doesn't open on Mondays.
Oh yeah. You always check the opening days, yes.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, you know, we have derailed so much all of our plan, the whole of our journey. Like we have always planned stuff. Like I'm a planner. I think we are so alike. We have chatted about this before. I was a project manager. I was doing forecasting for prices and all of that. And I'm the kind of person that at the end of the month, I like to look at the review of what has happened in the month and what am I going to do the next month, and give me so much joy just to plan. And you know what? To tell you a secret, I don't follow anything that I planned because the joy came in the moment, right? The joy came in the moment that I was planning it, and that I know this is what I truly want. It gives me, right now I truly understand that it just sets a tone. It sets an intention that, you know, you have things under control. It gives you kind of like a comfort. But as you go along, the comfort comes from, I think I want to experience, like you said, I want to sidetrack a little, like a branch. You know how the beautiful tree, it branches out to beautiful, like amazing ways of experience, but it's still going towards the same direction. And at the end, it creates a beautiful tree, but none of the branches are pointing the same way, right?
I love that. I love that analogy. That's so beautiful. We'll be wrapping it up in about 5-10 minutes time, and because I'm sure you need that sleep for before your call happens in the morning. Um, so before we wrap this up, what would you say? Is there any routine that you also do in the evenings? I know you mentioned your non-negotiables, right, which are there,
Mm.
but then you also touched upon some morning stuff. Now, is there something you do for your evening so that you are prepared, or for the next day, as some people like to say it, or just just grounding yourself down? I like to say, just ground myself. So I just ground back to myself, which is at the end of the day, just be home and do the thing. What's for you?
I don't have something, like morning, I'm more like, okay, there's one thing, two things that I always want to have the non-negotiables, but at night, I don't. At night, what I like is to check in with my feelings that I just want to chill. I know what I don't want. I don't want to have my laptop. I don't have my phone. I want to just have a walk. And I really tune into my body more carefully, more attentively towards the evening, right? And me and Christian will always talk about like, do you want to watch something? Hey, let's watch something. Do you want to do this? I think we are like really, like I said, bananas in pajamas.
Oh
We
yes.
really do everything together, and we really like it. And it's and just talking to each other, just talking to each other about the day. Sometimes we will lay in bed and the lights are gone, and the lights are out, when we're just talking about, oh my God, this is so exciting. And we're like, oh my God, shit, are we talking about work again? Yeah, we are, but it's so exciting, right? Yes, it is. And then we are like little kids, like, okay, so tomorrow, this is what we're going to do. So sometimes, just chatting about our, like talking to each other about the future and what went right, what went wrong, or what we are, it gives so much comfort to just have somebody. So I'm just lucky that I have someone who's also my best friend, that I could share my night like that with, besides all the other, lover stuff.
This is actually amazing, because what you just touched upon there is, in terms of having somebody to actually speak with is also, because that in a way that is your journaling. Basically, you are getting your thoughts
Yeah,
out,
that's true.
and he's being the sounding board and giving you the reflection back in terms of what he thinks it is, and his feedback, and what's going through his mind at the same time, because then it's coming out. So you both are obviously giving each other that support, which in other words, people would be doing with journaling. Obviously, journal does not come back and responds to you, but you by reading yourself back at the journal, your brain kind of answers what you are reading and gives you the ideas and what it is, and exactly. But obviously your one's a bit more 3D is happening there in person. So which is it's an amazing thing, because I always say to everybody that I also meet, if you are able to share your day with somebody in terms of bounce your energy back, and if the person is living with you, even better, because then you both are on the same waves, and you can share what was happening, because you might have not seen certain things that the other person might have seen as well that time, because again, you are two different people, so two different perspectives are still there, yet you are one unit. So you, by one unit coming back together, as you mentioned, that tree, even though that tree is branching it out, that side of the tree has a different view than to this side of the tree, and then but they still are connected to one, when then they feed back into the one energy that is in the middle, and they're all telling each other what they saw all day today. That bird came, this bird came, that saw this car, traffic line, whatever, and then they're all coming and sharing that energy feedback to each other, and making each other a bit more happier by sharing that journey, and could be something that different perspective of the same view as well as sometimes is appreciated. So I love that you've just mentioned upon that as well. So definitely that means to speak and talk about your day to as many people as you can, because the other person is basically looking to do the same as well. So that we are all looking to share our experiences and speak about it. So it just takes one person to start, and then everybody starts talking about it. So if nobody's talking about it, be that person and do it. So thank you very much, Shrey, for taking the time out and staying up so late for this wonderful episode that you've created today, and did this amazing conversation and your journey. Such an amazing journey that you've shared with us. Now, before we wrap this up now, I always ask the guests, what would you like to leave the audience with, people who are now listening to us live on Instagram? And this episode will be turned into a podcast in a few months' time. So what would you like to leave them with as we wrap this thing?
Yeah. So first of all, also thank you for having me here, right? And I really want to just go back and revisit to emphasize on the point that freedom, it does not mean, you know, the typical versions that we always hear. It is your own definition, and it can start from now. It can start from today. And it's a little seed that you can plant in your brain, in your head, your mind, your soul, your body, and it will grow. And I love how you make my tree so much more beautiful with the birds. And it's exactly like that, planting the seed for your version of freedom, where this tree goes, right? What is more important for you that sets you free in a way where you can be in the flow and living in the present and experiencing everything around you with all your senses, but still keeping in touch of what is it that drives you moving forward, right? Whether it is traveling, it's location freedom, whether is it to have more time at a certain place alone, but having more time for yourself, with your family, or having the time to be able to go to multiple places, it doesn't matter. Whether is it also freedom financially, and if it, for you, it means that you need to have more zeros in your banks, it's fine. But if for someone else, it just means that I don't need to worry about debts, about loans, that's also fine, right? There is no one definition of freedom, and it all starts from you, and it starts from now. Yes.
I love that. I love that. That is wonderful. Thank you very much. So the last line, do you mind just repeating that again? Was that there is no definition of freedom? It all starts with you. Is that correct?
It starts with you, and it starts from now.
Wow, wonderful. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Ray, for such an amazing episode. So people who are tuning in live with us on Instagram, and also people who are listening to this after as a podcast version, if you had any moment of spark or inspiration today from listening to our conversation, now it's our duty, and I urge you as well to share this episode with whomever, and that person that just popped in your mind. I'm sure somebody popped in your mind whilst you were listening to us. Just tag them or send this episode to them, because we don't know who's woken up or going to bed thinking of a better day. And if this conversation has created a spark in you, it might just create that spark in them as well, because it's a little spark we all need to create that change and take that action, and it might just help them to do that step and action that they have been thinking of. So thank you very much, everybody, again, and thank you very much, Shreya, as well. We will see everybody in next Tuesday, and thank you for your time as well, Shreya, as well.
Thank you, Zishan, and thank you for pronouncing my name right 100% of the time.
I worked hard. I'm proud of myself.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.